Elizabeth, President Donald J. Trump was in the Midwest this week, right here in the state of Iowa, in the little hamlet of Clive. After ignoring more or less the cries in Minneapolis, he decided that he was, instead of coming to talk about like what was going on, what his plan is for dealing with federal agents that have killed 2 U.S. citizens, he came to Clive, Iowa, to talk about the booming economy, the terrific economy. And I wanted you actually got inside the room for that, right?
So for listeners, Zach and I are both journalists. We both live in the beautiful state of Iowa, which is disgusting. It is the worst time of year to live in Iowa.
Yeah,
oh, come on. It's cold and
the winter
miserable.
is really bad. You're right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hit us up in May to November. We're perfect. But anyway. But so Zach was outside reporting and your girl was inside reporting on the ground. And so, so I was inside the convention center listening to the politicians talk, listening to Trump talk. And it was interesting because I've gone to a few Trump rallies. I think just 3, actually, all in Iowa. And I will say that he seemed a lot more subdued this time. Normally, I mean, I haven't seen him other times, like I'm sure he has good days and bad days. But like this was him kicking off. This was him kicking off his 2026, like the midterms, and the Republicans are worried. Like they keep going out and saying, "Don't let us lose to their base," which is not like what a winner would say, right? Like that's not like how winners act. And so like when I was in there, our congressman Zach Nunn was basically threatening the crowd, like if you don't vote for Republicans this midterm, we will lose. And then all that we're doing to make America great again is going to be bad. And then, Marinette Miller Meeks was there. Ashley Hinson was doing, like, they were all making that pitch, which was not really so much a pitch as it was a threat. But then Trump got out, and it was interesting because of what he wasn't saying, right? Cool. Like, he wanted to talk about, like, no more tax on tips. Like, no more tax on tips, which, okay. I feel pretty neutral about, right? Like, I know a lot of people who live off tips. They are happy about it. I know other people who live off tips and are a little complicated about it, but but if that's your thing, right? And then there was barely any mention. He did not say the word Minneapolis once. He talked about immigration, law enforcement, but very vaguely. And that like if he believes it's a winning talking point, he will be the one saying it. But the fact that it's JD Vance out there and Kristi Noem out there, he didn't even say Kristi Noem's name, which I thought was crazy talk. But the thing that I thought was really interesting was like he did his standard insult Ilhan Omar bit, but literally I was checking the timestamps just a couple minutes after he did that. When she was attacked at the town hall. Wow. So that was an interesting bit of synchronicity that I think came up. But the other thing that was really interesting was like I said, I've been to 3. I think the first one I went to, there was like one heckler that got pulled out. The second one I went to was in July, no hecklers. This time, and we're going to talk about what you saw outside. This time there were 3, at least what I saw, 3 sets of protesters in the crowd that got pulled out. And one was a guy who was sitting next to me. And I could
really
tell
blowing
because
your cover.
Well, yes. So as to Zach's point, I don't get press credentialed at Republican events in Iowa anymore. They don't like to give me press credentials. So I just show up and go in. And I'll do my best, nice white lady routine. It always works. But like I was there and, but you gotta, yeah, I was chatting with the people around me. I was trying to get them to talk about Minneapolis. Nobody wanted to talk about Minneapolis.
What would they say? Like out of curiosity, like how did they bat you off?
It was kind of like a demure. And I think I said something we were talking about, or they were saying something about like, oh, the economy or something. And I was like, yeah, tax season. Hopefully it'll be easier this year. I don't know. And then I was like, but what's really bothering me is everything that's happening in Minneapolis is kind of what I said. And then you could just kind of tell like the body language of the people around me shifted. And I had been like, Trump was like an hour and a half late. It was kind of like people turned and I go, yeah, I really have a hard time. And I said this, I was like, I have a hard time like knowing what to think about all that. What do you all think? And people were just kind of like shifty, like Iowans, if they don't want to say what they think, they just pretend like you didn't ask. And so it was kind of like one of those things where like people were like shifting. I think they kind of expected me to change the topic. And I didn't. I doubled down. I go, yeah, just interested in hearing what other Republicans have to say.
If you didn't, I don't know the answer to the question, no, you didn't ask it, is very funny.
Yes. Well, I think they know, but they just didn't want to talk about it. And this grandmother who was sitting a couple people down from me, she's just like, oh, well, it's just so hard to know with the liberal media misreporting on everything. And then this kid who was next to me, he was 19 years old, in college, football player. He spent the whole time chewing his fingers. It was so fucking disgusting. And it's like, oh, your hands are everywhere. And he just was like gnawing at his fingers with an enthusiasm that I just don't think his flesh full deserved. And he was kind of like, well, my thought is just like comply with law enforcement.
Man, the Party of Freedom, the Ronald Reagan Party of Freedom's really come a long way. They've just really doubled down on the fascist state.
The party of don't tread on me now has suddenly become comply or die. Like
as long as they come with commemorative knee pads, like yes. I'm on board.
But the other guy on the side of me was this kind of thin older man, and he in his 60s, and he was like acting really nervous, and then he started to sweat a lot, and I could smell him. And I'm sitting next to finger chewer and sweaty guy. And I knew sweaty guy was not a Republican because he was not engaging with anyone.
He had like sandalwood, waft of sandalwood.
He was so nervous. Like I was trying to engage him in conversation and he just kept kind of like mumbling and looking away. But I knew he could hear because he also was picking up his phone and having these like quiet conversations with somebody whose name I did see on the phone. So if this man listens to this podcast and his name is Ed, like Ed, get your OPSEC better because like Ed, I was looking over your shoulder. I found your name. I found your Substack. I found the names of all the people you were texting. I wrote them down because they had such bad service in there. I was like, I'm Googling this later. I was
Ed,
also
she's
really
a snoop, man. She's a snoop. You gotta be careful about the noops, Ed.
But also, Ed was like, ships, Ned. He was acting so nervous and so shifty that I started to get concerned that there was going to be a violence. And, the security had been pretty tight going in. But of course, my anxious imagination was like, what's the only thing he could maybe bring in? Maybe a lighter is the best he could sneak in. So I was like, is he going to self-immolate? Like, what is going to happen? And what ended up happening was he took off his flannel and revealed a big shirt that said liar, and then was almost immediately escorted out by security, or they like the security guard. It's like ironwood security that follows Trump around and adds extra security on top of local law enforcement and CIA. Yeah. So I've been to quite, like I said, I've seen Ironwood around. It's always the same guy too. And he came up to me and was like, what's that shirt about? What's his shirt about? And then Ed was kind of like, brr, brr, brr. And then he was like, is this about the boss? Is it about the boss? Meaning Trump, not Bruce Springsteen, obviously, I think.
Is this about the boss?
Yes. And then he's like,
that's talking about the boss boy.
You need to be taken out of here. And what was extra funny was there's this a guy who was sitting across the aisle, and I had briefly chatted with him, so I knew he was a farmer. And he, like, this farmer who has who's just there as an attendee, waves other security over like he's part of the security. So he's like, wave it. And then they immediately pulled the guy out. And the whole time I was like, dude, like looking around, like, okay.
Yeah.
And it happened so fast. But then there were two other hecklers who shouted out things at Trump, which I couldn't hear. But the interesting thing was the one heckler taken away. The third hecklers, when they started shouting, the crowd around them kind of like drowned them out with these chants of USA, USA. But when I was reading one of our local news outlets, the one that used to employ me, I was reading their coverage of the event, and they said, and then the crowd spontaneously broke out in USA, USA chants. And I was like, that wasn't spontaneous. It was like specifically designed to drown out protesters. Like, why wouldn't you? I don't know, man. Anyway, that was my experience.
You got to cover your ass, you know. I'm certain.
No, you don't.
I'm certain the political
what happened.
I'm certain the political director of the Trump campaign loved reading that in the Cedar Rapids Gazette.
Yes. I'm sure the Republican Jeff Kaufman, who's the head of the Republicans in Iowa, really loved that. What was your experience on the outside? Because it was more crowded outside than it was inside.
It was. We're giving listeners a nice upstairs, downstairs of the Trump visit to Iowa. Yes. So my job, I was doing a collaboration with More Perfect Union, and me and a camera guy got sent to go talk to folks as they were headed into the rally. Spoke to a lot of folks who were very hyped about the Trump economy, very hyped about. One of whom, when asked about Minneapolis, said that actually I think more murders might be necessary in order to like really deal with the problems in Minneapolis.
Wow.
When I tell you like some real peevish nonsense with guts spat, pretty remarkable. I think for me, the real juxtaposition was so you had so I kept as I was talking to folks about Minneapolis, asking these kind of folks headed into the Trump rally about Minneapolis. One thing that they kept pointing to, right, was the amassing protests, like hundreds of folks that were gathering in the intersection across the street. You trying to message about abolishing ICE and trying to put words to their anger about the Trump presidency and it's kind of into the first year. And I think what was really interesting was how to a T, their explanation of like, it wasn't that like, oh, well, maybe they have different values or maybe these, maybe they have things that maybe they take the loss of life more seriously than I do. It was always like, oh, well, there's probably a lot of paid protesters over there.
Yes, that was the thing. Everybody was like, they're paid protesters that's what Trump said too. He was like, well, he was like, my approval ratings are up. Everybody loves me. These are just paid protesters. And I was like, I know these people. When I was driving in, I was like trying to hide my face because I saw people I knew protesting. And I just didn't want them to be like, Liz Lance, what are you doing? Like, you know.
And I think this is a dialect because like one of the kind of comeaways from the civil rights movement is that when like one of the powers of demonstrations like this, direct actions like these, is that neighbors see that neighbors are so impacted by an issue that they are in the streets about that issue, right? And so long as they're your neighbors, right, I think there's like a real ability to humanize a movement, to humanize ideas, to maybe if you lack a little bit of humanity lack the ability to see the humanity in two U.S. citizens killed by Border Patrol and ICE agents, maybe this adds to your ability when you see your neighbors expressing that deep emotion about it. But when you can write them off as not neighbors, not folks in your town, not folks in your region, not certainly not people whose opinions matter. When they are paid protesters, they're just some George Soros backed rabble rousers. I think it's a rhetorical device that like can help folks write off reality.
Well, two things. There are two high profile Department of Homeland Security, which covers ICE and Border Patrol deaths, but I believe there's been at least 9 murders total, right? So these two high profile shootings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, but there have been so many more that haven't made the news. So that's worth pointing out. But I think the other thing that is like what I think is what's really telling about like what our reporting shows once again is that like the world outside, right, is so different than the world inside. Like the world inside that Trump rally was everybody is outside as a paid protester. The economy is good. Everybody loves Trump. Everything's going well. We're all doing great. Tariffs are good for farmers. All these things that are literally factually incorrect. But when you are in that world, and I will say that like I counted about 500 people in the room, another local news outlet estimated about 700. There was definitely not more than 700. Outside where Zach was, there were over 2,000 protesters. And so, that I think is an interesting dynamic too. That's not normal for Iowa, especially. And the other thing is just like when you are in that world, you can convince yourself that everything is true because when you're in, if you like, as Trump has done, since coming down that escalator, right, in 2016, has been to undermine the faith in reporting and in the news. And I will say his criticisms sometimes are effective because sometimes the news is bullshit. Like sometimes we do get it wrong and sometimes we get it wrong intentionally and it's hard to know. And that's a really fussy line. However, it is also still fact checked, right? Like there's still standards. And so, but he's so effectively undermined the trust in any sort of factual reporting that if somebody is faced with facts, they can say, no, this is AI, no, this is bullshit. And I'll even say it on the other side. There's that video that came out of Alex Preddy kicking the ICE vehicle,
the truck,
and knocking out the light. And when that came out, so many people on the liberal side were like, it's AI, it's AI. Like, even though it had been, it was factually verified, it doesn't justify. Nobody should be executed for kicking out the light on a truck.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. You showed me this video of Alex Brady kicking a truck. Yeah. No, I'm really fine now with him getting shot, like executed in the street. Yeah. Good point.
But the point is like, but like it happens because like the trust there is no shared reality anymore. And actually George Orwell had like a very effective quote that I'm going to butcher here, but it's about how like dictators and totalitarianism works by undermining our shared sense of reality. And that's how we can convince anybody everything is true and nothing is real, right? Or nothing is real and everything is true. And so it's so that world outside versus the world inside, I think is a real fascinating dynamic. And even with all the videos coming out from Minneapolis, like it's why people can see a video of Alex Preddy being held down by multiple ICE agents and then being shot 10 times, and have other people look at that same video and say, fake, he drew his weapon. He didn't draw his weapon. But you know what I mean? It's because there is no shared reality anymore. And there's no amount of evidence that can bring people into that world together again.
In all we're left with, whether it's the paid protesters at the gates or the economy that actually is terrific. The cope on sale is so palpable that if the Cope is looking to advertise, I know a great place. Hello and welcome to Dingus of the Week, a weekly show where we read America's birth chart and we find out that there's a moon in Capricorn. I'm Zachary Oren Smith. Those that know. I'm Zachary Oren Smith. I'm a politics writer for Iowa Starting Line, and I'm here with the Liz Lenz, author of the Dingus of the Week newsletter. This podcast is the audio second course for that newsletter's visual feast. Sign up at its new home on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Liz Lenz. That's LYZLENZ. Z. I spelled it right this time. I practiced. Wherever you listen, help support the show by liking and subscribing over on our YouTube. It's a great way to help us grow the platform. Rate and review us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Share this episode in a group chat near you, those friends, the good ones, not the bad ones, please. And of course, become a patron of the Dingus Arts at patreon.com/LizLens. Have a dingus of your own. Send us a voicemail at memo.fm/dingus. Leave a voicemail and it might just make it onto this very show. Now, Liz, who you kind of teased it earlier. Who is the dingus of the week?
Well, we've had a rough week. It's the news has been very heavy, and you and I were both spent the middle of the week at a Trump rally, and so I just said we had a great time. I really loved filing. I wrote a piece for the Bulwark about my time at the Trump rally, and I got to file it from the Machine Shed, which is a restaurant. That's the restaurant that Trump visited right before the rally. And I filed it there. And while I was filing it, they were getting a lot of harassing calls from people who were like, I can't believe you let Trump come to your restaurant. And so that was a fun bit of color. But it's been a weird week for all of us. And so instead of like picking on a guy, I decided to lift up a girl.
We'd love to see
a woman, a grown woman, a Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who was attacked this week by a man who is now under federal investigation. She is okay, but while she was doing a town hall, a man stood up, started yelling at her, and squirted her with a syringe. For a while, it was an unidentified liquid, and it was, but it was, I think, just identified yesterday in the news as apple cider vinegar, which is weird. Listen, I'm not here to like help people attack better, but I just feel like what a weak man way of, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Come on. I mean, what I like about it is it might have actually made her immune system better, right? Like maybe, he did say, you should be impeached. Flu season. He did say you should be impeached, but maybe he was trying to get her a tonic, right? Like a skin, like some contact from the co-op.
That's right. He's just like, take this little shot of apple cider vinegar. It's flu season, girl. You need the help. But the incredible thing about that moment was that he's coming at her and then he's tackled by a security guard. It's like this, it's a chaotic couple of seconds. But in this moment, you do not see Representative Omar flinch.
We can play that video right here. Do you want to roll the tape?
Yes. Roll the tape, see what she does.
And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment. I don't know.
Oh my God, he sprayed something on her.
I need a napkin to know nothing. No, we will continue.
No. Ilhan, you need to go get checked.
No, we will continue. These fucking assholes are not going to get away with it.
So she walks right toward him. She doesn't flinch. She doesn't back away. She walks him up. He starts to yell, and she starts walking purposefully right towards him with her fist raised. That is metal as hell.
She does run up to him in a way that this you saw the security guard be like, will you stop? Like, I got this. Like, give me, let me work.
And she really was like exit stage leftist, buddy. She was like, you're going to fight like Ted Cruz when there's severe weather in Houston. She was like, you put that syringe in Carolyn Levitt's lips where it belongs. Wait, I have one more.
Keep him coming.
And she raised that fist and said, what did you just squirt at me? Kristi Noem's cheeks? Was that the syringe that's supposed to artificially inseminate Usha Vance? She was like, bitch, let's go.
Not the IVF, not Usha's IVF treatment.
I mean, she's just like, she was Mazel Usha Vance, who's announced a pregnancy this week. Mazel. But That was part of the joke.
Mazel.
Mazel. And like, it's just like, it's so metal as hell. And like watching it. So I have a lot of friends who live in Minneapolis, as we all do. It's our neighborhood, but like my brother lives there and this is his congressperson. And he was like texting me about it. He was like, he was just like, this is exactly what Greg Bovino wishes he was. You know what I mean? Like this, like when Greg Bovino did that like Himmler sizzle reel where it was just like, you know, a video of him walking around in that like Nazi coat and like trying to look all tough. Like he wishes he looked as tough as Congresswoman Omar did in that moment, right? Like this is what Pete Hegseth wishes he looked like when he violated national security protocols to bring all the Joint Chiefs together to tell them they're fat. Right. Like this is what like, but I do think there's a little bit of like these like these competing ideas of toughness. And the reason I think Ilhan Omar really bothers Trump, because I would make the argument that besides Nancy Pelosi, he attacks her more than anyone else. And it's, of course, it's misogynoir, right? Like it's misogyny, it's racism.
That's right.
But I think she just embodies something that really bothers Republicans, is that she is an independent woman who is Black and is Muslim, and she is fierce. And she's that kind of woman that they're doing everything they can do to stop from being in existence, you know, through like cuts to SNAP benefits, right? But they're trying to, there's that Heritage Foundation document that says next we need to take away no-fault divorce. Well, Ilhan Omar's been divorced twice, right? Like there's all these, like there's all these attacks on women out there. And even like these immigration raids specifically are hurting women and children and families. Trump's tariffs are hurting like women business owners in other countries, like the cutting USAID, like that hurts women the most, because 2/3 of refugee seekers are women and children who are victims of human trafficking, right? Like these are all like from every level, it's attacks on women. And then you see in Minneapolis, one, an uprising of women as protesters, as community organizers. 2, you see Ilhan Omar, and then 3, you see, you know, like the Renee Good. And I think there's a real, and they're the ones who are showing like real toughness and real resilience and real like strength and power. Meanwhile, you know, you've got like ICE agents out like cosplaying Halo in the streets, dehumanizing people, thinking that they look tough, but my God, they'll never look as tough as that woman, like fist raised, walking right toward her attacker. So not a dingus, definitely not a dingus.
Not a dingus, and so much not a dingus. I wanted to play kind of her kind of remarks right after this attack happened, because she immediately gets back up to that mic, gets back on that stage, and goes. So here's immediately after.
Just give me 10 minutes. Just give me 10 minutes. I beg you. Please don't let them have the show. 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 Here is the reality that people like this ugly man don't understand. We are Minnesota strong, and we will stay resilient in the face of whatever they might throw at us. Everybody settle down. I'm going to finish my remarks. It is important for me to continue to lead my Democratic colleagues in demanding her resignation. And like I said, if she does not resign, we are going to introduce articles of impeachment. This moment in U.S. history, and particularly in Minnesota, requires all of us to be working together to preserve our democracy. When we say we are going to put our lives on the line for what is our right, we mean that.
So that's incredible, right? That's an incredible way to, after being, and because at this moment, they don't know kind of what this liquid is. They just know it's a foul-smelling liquid. A liquid so foul-smelling. I wanted to, if there was a bright moment, if there was a bit of joy, and not just like awe in this thing, it was the woman immediately next to her is like, that smells really bad. She's like, Omar's like, no, it's fine. I got a really important speech I'm going to make. This is my fight moment. And she's like, but it smells really, that's really bad.
That's whatever it is smells so bad. She needs to go get checked. I don't know what that was.
That's what they want. Please don't let them know.
It's not about him, Ilhan. It's not about him.
Please.
It's about your safety. No, he sprayed something on you. You need to go get checked. Yeah, and it smells terrible.
It smells really bad. It's like, shut up. I'm trying to be really cool right now. Will you get out of here with that? I love whoever that woman is. I would love for if one of the listeners who maybe knows Minneapolis politics better than I do. I would love to know who this person was. I was like, that smells so rank. It smells like stinky poo-poo. Like, what is that?
You're like, calm down. Be cool, man.
Like, be cool.
Be cool. I just think it's so incredible. And like, I mean, that's what like attacks like that are supposed to do, right? Like Trump's trying to bully her into silence and Callie. And like, it's not working. And that's why, like, what frustrates me often is like when people, get attacked online or something, they're like, okay, well, I guess I can't talk about that. It's like, no, you need to talk about it more.
That's right.
And that's what I love about Ilhan Omar in this moment is she's just like, no, I will double down. And that's my kind of ethos. I also think that we've seen the passing of a torch for Minnesota female politicians in Minnesota, as previously Amy Klobuchar, or the Klobs, as we like to call her, and by we I mean me, was known for her throwing of the binders, and I now think she is. It's Omar's turn to be the binder thrower. Klobs is cut off. No more violence from the Klobs. Only violence from Ilhan Omar.
The passing of the weighted binder. Yeah, I'm in. That sounds like a fun. That sounds like a fun little. Tradition.
And you want to hear a fun little anecdote? I'm not going to use a name, but the person who got the binder thrown at them is a friend of mine. We went to college together.
Well, that's fun.
He's such a nice guy. He's like a Minneapolis dad. And he's just like, he's like now out, being a crossing guard, protecting the schools, like protesting, like being a real mensch out there.
Oh, yeah.
But like when he was telling me about it, like in an Instagram message during the 2020 caucus cycle, he was just like, I'm not mad. Because here's my controversial take. I would let Amy Klobuchar throw a binder at me.
I don't think that's controversial. After watching her sidle up to some shirtless firefighters, I think she's. I know her gubernatorial chances are in play. I certainly think her binder throwing, her binder chucking skills are certainly in play.
If Ilhan Omar wants to punch me in the neck, that's fine. I'll be fine with that.
This is a pro Omar Step on Us podcast. This is
we're pro female violence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Finally, something we can all get behind. Liz, we had another kind of dingus that we wanted to talk about. I understand you were telling me in preparation for this that RFK is breaking out the big dairy. Tell me a little bit about him saddling up to the dairy council.
So I am lactose intolerant in the sense that I am intolerant of grown adults who drink large glasses of milk. And if people listen to the Christmas edition of this podcast, you will know that 2 months ago, we talked about how in the past I named milk as the dingus. And because I think it's disgusting. I do not think a grown adult should be drinking a large glass of milk. And I named milk as a dingus. And then for the Christmas
you named
podcast,
names.
I pardoned that dingus Well, guess what? Double jeopardy does not come into play on this podcast, bitch, because Milk is back in jail.
Sorry, guys.
There's no constitution.
Pack up the pail.
That's right. I'm the dictator here. Pack up the pail.
You milk into a pail.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay,
I got it. That's good. I laughed.
I didn't know that. So you're saying rather than, RFK got into it?
So it's back in the news because last week, RFK declared that he made milk great again and was like, posted this AI video of him like drinking milk and then like dancing, doing that.
Unfortunately, we can play that clip right here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Here we go. Roll it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that to anybody. But
and then also Trump signed this like executive order being like milk's healthy for kids again, which is just something you can declare by executive order. But like, and then RFK is out like it's legal to drink whole milk again. You can drink whole milk. And I have to say, first of all, this shows how men do not grocery shop because what this highlights is domestic labor inequality, because of course you've been able to buy whole milk for forever. And they're like, but now you can't, now it's legal. It's like, my man, it's been legal for forever. But the other thing is, like, Trump appeared had a picture with a milk mustache on. It's just like when you make a movie and you're trying to signal to your audience that the villain in your movie is a real fucking creep, do you know what you have them do? You have them drink a milk.
Yeah. It is a pretty sicko. It is a pretty sicko move to like just gobble down a whole glass of milk and then look for more.
An adult human. Anyway, so I did name I named milk as kind of like a little lighthearted dingus, because it's like what's going on? Like, is Brooke Rollins like two cows in a sheath dress? Like, how did we get here with the Dairy Council controlling everything about it? And also milk, like, sure, you do good work in a white Russian. I actually hate white Russians because I don't like milk, but like a milk-based bread, that's good, I guess. But why is milk out here associating with fascists? Like, why is milk being the number one drink endorsed by cartoon villains everywhere?
I mean, it's all about trying to make America healthy again, Liz. You know this. Everything used to be so healthy back in the day, so pure. Back in the 50s, people drank whole milk. They ate red meat. And they didn't worry so much about their voting rights because they were dealing with late stage lead poisoning. It was a simpler time. It was a better time.
The Atlantic had a very good explainer on this kind of like weird symbolism of milk and how tying it to the concepts of American nostalgia and obviously racism. But the author brings up like a 1923 speech by Herbert Hoover, who was Commerce Secretary at the time, who framed milk as a means to ensure, quote, the very growth and virility of the white races.
I feel the opposite of virile after drinking a whole glass of milk. It's crazy, like how I feel.
You just feel like a silly little boy.
I feel like I could not sire the next generation.
Well, and like modern day white nationalists and alt-right groups like hold up dairy milk as a symbol of whiteness and masculinity, in contrast to soy milk, right, which they call like woke feminists, and that's what like we get the term soy from it.
I do think soy milk is decidedly the woke feminist take. It's that or oat milk, which is woker, oat milk or soy milk.
I need to say this to people: you don't need to drink milk. Don't drink milk. Somebody posted in the comments. They were like, "Well, I like milk for my cereal," and I'm like, "You know how I eat my cereal? With my fists out of the box at 2 a.m. like a goddamn adult. Like, you do not need milk." That said, I like oat milk if it's in my Americano because I like it like whipped up.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
clearly
nice.
lavender oat
It's a little
milk.
sweet.
Lavender oat milk is decidedly the gay milk. But what is the woke milk?
The wokest milk, I think soy is probably woker than oat.
That feels accurate.
Yeah, I think if we're going based on vibes, soy it's also grosser.
Yeah.
Like oat milk is actually kind of
nice.
It tastes pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Like soy is just disgusting and nobody should drink. Also, just stop drinking glasses of milk. You don't need to. There are whole countries.
Drink
People are like,
drink teacups of milk. Drink coops of milk.
No,
there's so many vessels you could have.
You
have
don't
your milk.
like even children don't need to drink milk. Like it is this wholly American thing. There are tons of other cultures that raise children without forcing them to drink like cow's milk. This is an American thing. Japan manages just fine. It is literally propaganda if you think you need to drink milk. The only thing you need is whipped cream and ice cream. That's it. Cheese.
But it's part of this bigger play, right? Whole milk is this gateway drug to even weirder dairy products. Things like you've of course heard of raw milk, but also yak butter tea and camel milk and raw colostrum, right? Like this is it's all trying to get us to where so RFK can drink tit milk in this free time and not be called a weirdo.
First of all, this is
respectfully.
That is not okay thing to say on this podcast.
Which one?
All of it.
Which part of it? The yak milk?
Canceled.
The yak butter tea. That was a fun one. That was a fun find.
It's so gross. I hate it, Zach.
Yeah, it's really bad.
I hate it.
It's really bad. I'm like, I honestly, like this morning, I was like trying my best to like find fun in this story, but I just kept thinking like, this man is supposed to be the boring guy that keeps the fluoride in our water, like make sure our teeth don't fall out. Like this is supposed to be that guy, and like we can't. This sucks so badly.
It also fundamentally changes nothing. You know what I mean? They're all like, oh, yeah, now you can have milk. You know what's changed for my kids' schools? Nothing. Like my kids aren't base ass losers, so they're actually not drinking milk. My kids actually hate milk.
I am a loser, and unfortunately, this is like just all over the place for us. It's killing us.
It's so hard, but it's like it's just all this it's all this signaling, right? Like it is white nationalist signaling about, and there's also this idea too that it's like, oh, there used to be a time when like, we had more access to milk and it was safer. Milk has never been safer than it is now, and it also like. People didn't drink it a lot because you get really sick, and that's why we pasteurize it. Like, I grew up on raw milk, actually.
And it shows.
And you want to know what's nasty? Being forced to drink a glass of milk and then having chunks in it because the cream, like the cream on the top didn't get all, and like you're drinking it and now it's like warm and chunky because of the cream chunks. Man,
the worst part about the like raw milk campaign has been like raw milk is tasty, right? Creamline milk, great. It sucks that we have to like make our identity out of creamline milk. Like that sucks, dog.
I do like a nice like Hanson's Dairy whole milk in my coffee. That's really good.
You only drink dairy in your coffee?
A shout out to Hanson's. Yeah, I literally, even as a kid, you know what? I probably am a little lactose intolerant of its bullshit.
Got it. Dead.
Got the ass.
And with that, Liz, you want to take a break?
Yeah.
And we're back. Liz, do you want to play a game with me?
I do. I'm traveling as if you're visually watching this.
I like the landscape you've built behind us. For those watching the video, in this visual medium that you can watch on youtube.com, you will find this great vista that she has built for us. This visual feast. Is that a queen size bed?
It's a king. At my Sheraton.
Sorry, I forget you're a gold star winner.
I'm gold level Marriott Bonvoy member Liz Lenz, but I am in I don't like telling people where I'm visiting because
for good reason.
I love people, but like if I say where I am in a place, people will be like, come visit. They'll be, and I like that, but like I have like followers who will be like, I mean, I think it's a sweet impulse, but it is like, I have to be like, no.
It's like, they're like, hey, Liz, it's your mom. Will you please come visit me? I know I heard you were in town. Do you want to come visit me? Please. I'd love to see you.
Do you want to hang out? Oh, you're in Austin? We'd love to drive up and see you. No, it's like, I am not in Birmingham, Alabama, but if I was in Birmingham, people would be like, oh, I live in Birmingham. I'd love to take you out. Or like, and it's very sweet, but it's also really exhausting just to be like, no. And then I feel like an ass. And so I am visiting a friend this weekend, my dear friend from college. And this is my beautiful room at the Sheraton in an unspecified location.
But don't worry, for the real ones, I'll drop the location in the show notes at the very bottom. So
perfect.
Have fun. But Liz, do you want to play a game?
And Zach is in his room, in his house, and he's wearing a coat in his house because apparently I don't pay him enough to turn on the heat.
You know, if you go right now to patreon.com/Liz Lenz, you can become part of the at $10 a month. You can get Zach an electric heater for his house. Help Zach brave this winter. Sunday. He may not freeze to death this polar vortex. You can
Zach.
save a life. You can save a life.
Smooth.
Thank you.
Smooth. Yes, I would love to play a little game. Let's play a little game.
Elizabeth, we have been talking a lot about how U.S. Representative Ilhan Omar rose to the occasion. Something was thrown on her, and she broke through. I mean, almost beat that dude's ass, and then delivered a triumphant speech. But I wanted to talk a little bit about other things that were thrown at people of note. Do you want to play my game?
Yes.
I've asked you this like 8 times.
I'm so ready.
There are 2 real ones and there's 1 false one. And you have to determine which one is real and which 2 are real and which one is false. In 2004, Arnold Schwarzenegger took a protein shake to the face. During his gubernatorial campaign days, someone nailed him with a whole protein shake at a rally. The best part, Arnold barely flinched, stayed on stage and later joked, quote, "This guy owes me a workout now." Peak action hero. What do you think? Real? Fake?
Wow. Well, you got to give me the others.
Okay.
I think I love that he's not fazed by having thick, creamy liquids thrown at his face.
I mean, whomst of us? Rupert Murdoch got a pie in the face during Parliament testimony back in 2011. While testifying about the phone hacking scandal, a protester hit him with a shaving cream pie. His then wife, Wendy Dang, lunged across the table to slap the guy. The moment spawned a million, quote, this was like the news used the phrase like tiger wife a million times to describe this kind of moment. Murdoch tried to explain this serious crime. He really tried to get this guy what am I trying to say? He really tried to make this guy's life hell. It was kind of insane. So that's 2. Number 3, George W. Bush and the Iraqi. We, of course, all remember the shoe. We can play that clip right here. It's my favorite. So everyone remembers the shoe, but but people seem to forget that on that very same trip, people were throwing lots of stuff at our former President George W. Bush. They threw among them of the liquids, water and some sort of fruit juice. Elizabeth, what do you think is the most? What do you think are the true? What's one true one? That's probably an easier guess.
So this is a hard one, I think, because like I am tempted to say that Rupert Murdoch. I know Wendy Dang was called Tiger Wife, right? Like I know that is true.
Okay.
I feel like in 2011 I was having a baby, but I feel like I should remember Rupert Murdoch getting pied in the face. But I did literally have a child that year, so maybe weird, but the one that feels so I'm Arnold, that feels correct. Like I feel like that's right. The two I'm waffling between are the Bush one, because I think Bush has had multiple shoes thrown at him. Actually, there's that famous one. I know there were more than one, but I don't think a liquid. So that one seems true enough with a fakery, but the Murdoch one feels like I should remember it if it happened. But so but I did have a baby that year, so I'm gonna go with George Bush.
False. I'm sorry to tell you, Liz, you didn't win this one. It was actually number one. Arnold Schwarzenegger had it was another source of great protein, eggs thrown at him during his gubernatorial race. Thanks for playing. This has been I'm a Liar, and So Can You Be. Catch us next time on
Wait, can I tell you what my favorite food throwing moment in history was?
Is it Nigel Farage taking a milkshake to the face? Because that was a what do you call it? It's not first, not second, not third. It's an honorable mention. That was an honorable mention.
You know this one. It happened in Des Moines, 1977. That anti-gay crusader, Anita Bryant, that piece of shit, Anita Bryant, got hit in the face with a pie by our hero, Tom Higgins. Say his name. Pied that woman in the face. It is one of the best moments in history.
Elizabeth, I because you have brought up this exact moment, are you familiar with the song? We have just been listening to David Allen Coe's Fuck Anita Bryant. I'm not allowed to play it because I'm certain it would violate some copyright issues on across platforms, but it will be linked in the show notes. It is a problematic bop, but it rips. It's so good. Absolutely go check this out. And if you're near where she was buried, go piss on that grave. Go have fun.
That song is so amazing. Thank you for sharing it with me. I've literally never heard it in my life. And wow, I feel like a whole new world opened up to me. Also, I do love how he's just like, yeah, gay people can suck too.
That's
also,
right.
Fuck you. Like just like, you're like, I am on a roller coaster. It's also such a bop.
Yeah. It's a great song from and
it's a song. It's a song.
He does rip that F slur real hard. He does rip that F slur real hard. And
in a way that feels a little rough.
Let me tell you, it is
Ease up, buddy.
I'm gonna say like in general, like in the right direction. Try a little harder on the edit, work it out on the remix.
It reminds me of when guys will call an evil woman the C word.
Ooh,
and then they go like real hard on it in a way that it feels a little uncomfortable. And you're like, I just think you really are excited to call a woman I guess it's my podcast, I can say the word cunt, but like you feel like you're really calling a woman, like she might be a cunt, but the way that you're saying it just makes me feel like you really just want to call women cunts. Like it gets really uncomfortable. Do you remember the night we saw the Barbie movie and we went to the bar after?
Yes.
For the people who don't know, Zach and I hung out and saw the Barbie movie together with a bunch of our mutual friends.
We went to
this bar in Iowa City. We did have a lot of fun. We went to this bar in the city after. Our friend Michaela and I went up to get drinks. This man recognized me, was starting to talk to me about Iowa politics. I did not want to talk about Iowa politics. I want to drink with my hot friends. And he started ranting about our governor and started using this C word in a way that like me and Michaela were like backing up. We were like, okay, time to get out of here. Like it was uncomfortable. And I was like, man,
I think it's got to be,
man.
I think it's got to be like for folks that follow you, for the men in the audience that follow you. I imagine it's like the thrill of using the C word to Liz's face, right? Like maybe there's maybe they're like, no, please don't be mean to me about it, Liz. Don't put me in my place. I did say it.
They want me to throw a little something at their face.
That's exactly right. They want the apple. They want to take some apple cider to the face.
They want a little binder to the face, if you know what I mean.
Liz, tell me, what is causing you joy right now in this cold hellhole moment in the Midwest? I must know.
I am not in the Midwest. I'm so happy that I got to leave, although I'm in another state that is getting a snowstorm tonight. But
Yikes.
I'm so excited to see my two best friends. I have known them since freshman year of college. We have been best friends for forever. So
Liz, we get to see each other all the time. What are you talking about?
You shut your hole.
We see you and me. One of your two best friends. We see each other every week. What are you talking about, Liz?
These are my besties, Anna and Kate. I'm very excited to see them. And we're going to be eating a lot of food, drinking some drinks, hanging out. But I also want to talk about another thing that's bringing me joy is, hey, Zach, guess who has 2 thumbs and went viral last week?
Oh, I did see. I saw this video. We can play it right here.
Here's what I don't understand. When there is a blizzard coming, everybody goes to the store and they buy all the milk and the bread. But I have been through a million blizzards and never once was I in the middle of a blizzard stuck in my house and been like, oh geez, I wish I had more milk and bread. You know what you need during a blizzard? Doritos and tequila. You need beer and queso. You need red wine and double stuffed Oreos. What you do not need and what nobody wants is milk and bread. Even your children. They want Fanta and Sour Patch Kids. That is what they need. So when you go to the grocery store with this blizzard coming, get yourself some Pinot Grigio, those Scoopy Tostitos, and some real good pimento cheese dip. Skip the milk and the bread. Thank you.
I am 43 and I pivoted to video as a 43-year-old.
You survived the you survived the 2000s writing for blogs on the internet, and you're just now pivoting to video. I love that.
No,
I really love that.
Actually, this is not my first pivot to video. In 2010, really? I did a video series for the website that I worked for. You remember this because we talked about this, and then a mutual friend found the videos, and they're so boring. But I did a video series for a website that I worked for, and it flopped. But I did get a lot of creepy comments, so that was fun. But then I've resisted ever since because of that. And then, trying to find a new way to talk about the work. I believe in my work and also have fun online in a time when like media is collapsing, everything's niche. How do you reach new people? And so I started like screwing around and making little videos, and I made a little video. It's also about milk, weirdly.
You're really finding your audience, I think. You're really finding what's salient.
It's just me be the dairy council. It's like, and it's just like, I'm the dairy council's biggest enemy. But I made this video. It's got almost 3 million views. And I am really enjoying the people who comment in the video. They're like, oh, well, you don't like milk and eggs? You must not make French toast. And I'll reply, I'll be like, cooking is a man's job. Like, I love how, I'm 43. I've spent my whole career on the internet. You think I'm new to hate comments? I invented the replies to hate comments. Like, I invented hate comments. Like, you can't come to, and the people are like, my children need milk. And I'm like, yeah, I have kids too, but they're not base ass losers. Give them tequila. And
are you saying basic or based?
Based.
Based is good.
It's how ass. Really? Am I doing this wrong?
Yeah, based is good. Like the very Chadly based Cameron Winters played on SNL over the weekend. The very based. I'm
gonna say, I think my Gen Z daughter did an op on me, and I think she planted some false slang. I think she accepted me. I gotta say this.
Mom. It's like
because it comes from a direct conversation with my daughter, and I said, "Oh, is that an insult? Can I use it?" And she was like, "Yeah, you should use it." And I have been. And
Mom. It's like you just kind of say 5'8". You just kind of do like give it a 5'8".
She did tell me to start calling people unk, and I was like, I won't be doing that.
All right, that's a chopped unk. Yeah, chopped unk. Fire. That's it. That's good.
What?
You're
Okay.
a chopped. Yeah, you're a chopped unk. It's a compliment.
No, it's not. Chopped is bad.
No. It's a
I
compliment.
know chopped is bad. No, chopped is bad.
No,
Stop.
be a chopped unk.
Listen, we're the first of all,
an actual chopped unk, right? Like as an actual chopped unk.
the fact that you said it means nobody, like, even though Gen Z is not listening to this podcast, although I wish you would, they all of a sudden, there's like a bat signal went out to every Gen Zer, and they're like, we can't say chopped or unk anymore.
No, you saw the dingus of the week this week, right? Yeah, no, unk is chopped. Chopped is unk. We're done.
Taps just blew. Like,
actually,
put to bed. Put to bed that.
Based is chopped now. Base is chopped.
Okay.
So
what's making you happy?
What's making? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. You're such a good listener. You're such a good listener.
Yeah.
So my garage clicker died this week, and I was really upset. I try to be prepared during these winter months with like things like batteries, because like things, you'll run out of juice all the time. It's fine. And we had AAA batteries, and I was so ready. I popped that sucker out and was like ready to go replace it. And it turns out my clicker takes like an infinitely smaller battery called an A23. Yes. And so the thing that's causing me joy this week is I was able to walk to my hardware store. It's nearby. It's in my neighborhood. Get exactly the battery that I needed, a battery size that I didn't think existed. And I'm not going to name it here because, like, unlike Liz, I don't do buzz advertising. But if they want to advertise, you know where to find me next time I run out of my clicker runs out of juice. Hardware stores. I love a neighborhood hardware stores. It has everything you could possibly need. It's got weird snacks on your way out. It's got like licorice flavors I've only seen there. If I need a snow shovel because my metal one is too dinged to pick up snow. If I need a weird battery, if I need a hose, if I need an actual garden hose, I can get it from my hardware store. And I love that.
I love my hardware store so much, the local one. I go to the big box store. I don't want to talk to anybody. No. People are so condescending to me. I have a conversation. They act like I'm an idiot. I go to my local hardware store, which is a little bit farther away. But if I go there, the guy there knows me. He's changed batteries on my key fob. I can change it. But if I walk in and I'm like, oh, I need the battery for the key fob, he'll be like, let me do that for you. He's so kind. He's never condescending. It's like him and his wife run this place. The woman is lovely. Mm-hmm. Great snacks. So nice. I like if I feel unsure about something, or like I need to find a weird screw to fit a thing, I will always go there and ask. And then it's like, it's just like, it's like the grandparents I don't have,
Incredible. So shout out.
I love it. Yeah. Shout out
hardware stores.
Also, what a Midwestern thing. Like, we're just like hardware stores and clickers. Guys, this is our culture. It's our culture.
Is it appropriate? Can I claim Midwestern culture now?
Oh,
am I allowed to be Midwestern?
Appropriated it. We have to. So Zach and I are both not native Midwesterners. We actually, well, Texas is not a southern state, and
it sure is not. You can't come to the party.
So I'm a native. Well, I grew up in Texas, and Zach is a native Mississippian.
I'm going to claim it. But I'm a Midwestern boy now.
You know what? We can be whatever we want to be.
I'm South by Midwest. I've always been a mid-Southerner.
One of our friends who's like who runs the Boy Scouts and is like an Eagle Scout or whatever, gave Zach his Carhartt jacket. And Zach wears this Carhartt jacket around. He's like, yeah, look at me in my Carhartt. And it's like, you know what? It would be stolen valor if you had gone out and bought it. But because our friend Ted gave it to you, and Ted earned the valor of that Carhartt, and he gave it to you like he knighted you. It was like him knighting you.
I'm his squire. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm
his Midwestern squire. I think that's how you become Midwestern, is you, as a Southerner, is you have to like befriend a Midwesterner, and then they have to make you have to owe you a
You
life.
have to be their bitch.
They have to owe you a life debt. And then as part of that arrangement, you were gifted, you were given the mantle, the Carhartt jacket. That's beautiful.
It's that, or you have to go through 3 large natural disasters, and then you've become part of the group. Then
you've been cleansed.
You've been hazed. I've gone through 3 large natural disasters, and it's like, at this point, y'all, I'm here.
Elizabeth,
you gotta take me.
Elizabeth, we before we go, we actually have to go to my favorite podcast within a podcast, Crow's Feast, where we got something wrong and now we got to eat crow about it. Tell me what you did to poor Margaret Sullivan.
So a couple podcast episodes ago,
long time ago,
and I just want to say this is I only got notified of it this week. I was talking about the way the media covered Donald Trump in the 2016 election, and I brought up the New York Times op-ed titled Donald the Dove, Hillary the Hawk, Donald the Dove. And in my haste, I said, I got my white ladies confused. I said it was written by Margaret Sullivan, but it was actually written by Maureen Dowd. And Maureen Dowd and Margaret Sullivan are 2 very different women. Margaret Sullivan does media criticism. She did it for the Washington Post for many, many years, and now writes for The Guardian. I really like her insight. Maureen Dowd is the one who won a Pulitzer for slut shaming Monica Lewinsky. So Maureen Dowd, respectfully, eat my whole ass. Margaret Sullivan, I am so sorry. Margaret Sullivan, please. I know you are one of our couple thousand listeners.
The Chadly, you besmirched the name of the Chadly virile Margaret Sullivan, and by swapping her with the chopped Dowd. Is that what I understand?
You are canceled. That's
for which part? Well, I've said a lot of things into this microphone today. Thanks for listening. Patreon.com/Liz Lenz is the home of Dingus of the Week. Men yell at me, media production that I'm still employed by. Maybe Liz will change her mind about that this time. Love or hate what you heard. Help us keep it coming. Here's what you can do to help out. 1, like and subscribe over on our YouTube. That's at youtube.com. 2, rate and review us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. 3, share this episode with a friend. It's the best way to grow the podcast because it gives you something to talk about with that beloved friend of yours. Suddenly, you're not just listening to a podcast, you're building tighter friendships, networks that will reward you time and time again. 4, and last, become a patron of the Dingus Arts. At $5 a month, you can help us keep this show rolling all year long. Have a dingus you want us to talk about? Go record a short message for us at memo.fm/dingus.
And thank you so much to me, Liz Lenz, one of the hosts of the show. Thank you to
Liz. Thank you, Liz.
That's it. End of show. No, thank you to Zach, who is co-host and produces and does the sound and everything for the show. Thank you to our anonymous editor, who shall not be named. Thank you to assistant editor Isabella Rosario. And thank you, as always, to Laura Benitez and The Heartache for creating our walk on and walk out song, which is such a bop. It is better than the fuck Anita Bryant song, but just barely, because that song rips. All right. Thank you. Talk to y'all next week.
Bye-bye.
Dingus of the week, lost your paddle up shit creek. You're not smart, you're just an a-hole. Elon's calling from his K-hole. Read those racist tweets, tell lies about vaccines. Perhaps you'll be our dingus of the week. It's a race straight to the bottom, down so deep it's hard to fathom. Let's see our dingus of the week.
This feels illicit.
I can't record a podcast on my knees.
I need. That's for the behind the paywall.
That's the only fans cut. That's when
That's going in the
like
cut.
this fails. That's when this podcast fails.